ipmNation.com.
Good evening and welcome. Talk about kicking around the week ahead. You're into IPM Nation Sneak Speak, where we go over everything with the head honcho over at IPM Nation, Matt Connarton. Matt, good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just queuing up your logo here. We did a little bit. I've got the Matt Connarton Unleashed logo popping up now, just so you know, over on our, for the people that are listening, over on our Sneak Speak page. So that looks pretty cool. And I have to tell you, I like the new IPM Nation logo as well. Look at that. That's I like that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So happy New Year, brother. Good stuff.
Happy New Year to you.
What's going on?
Well, you know, I'm excited for 2019.
I imagine. How's any Cellophane John and Cellophane Jans plaguing your world in the opening week, or are you pretty good?
You know, it's funny you mentioned Cellophane John. So I had, he was on my show the other day on Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we also had Allison Copeland calling in.
Okay.
And Allison, of course, is going to be our guest here on Sneak Speak on the 13th, as you might recall.
Oh, I do.
She's the host of Dumb and Busted,
which I see made the top 10.
Sharing.
Didn't I see that?
Yeah,
that it made the top 10. That's great news.
It did, yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But so the other day, Allison was calling into my show, and I said to John, I said, before we started the show, I said, for the segment, I said, hey, when Allison calls in, you got to be nice to her because she's a relatively new host at IPM Nation. I don't want you scaring her off. So, and he was okay. Very, very kind.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Hey, since we're speaking about it, we said Dumb and Busted made it in, so that's pretty cool. Matt Connarton Unleashed is in at the number 2 spot. The Morning Show with Peter White is number 3. Thinking Re-envisioned with Henry Noel is at number 4. Local Outbreak is at number 5. Politipod, which I've become a big fan of, is number 6. The Hustle Report is number 7. Rob and Slim, number 8. Dumb and Busted, number 9. And I haven't gotten a chance to listen much of late, but Slicko's World is in at number 10. So that's some pretty good news. And I noticed just in queuing up the website, Matt, Copy That Speaks, someone's playing that right now. So that's pretty cool. And tonight, here in a little bit, Lee Rowley will be joining us from Sales Copy Academy and talking about the new show that's on IPM Nation, the Copy That Speaks. I said in the tease, it's like this show is like it could have been called 2.5 Experts, right? So I think I'll just get you and Lee talking, and I'll step out of the way, and I'll step out of the way and have I bring a little sustenance down with me to get through when we have these multiple shows back to back to back. So I'll have a little sip. Sure, it's wheatgrass and spirulina. So I call it my my surf and turf. So I've got that.
Sounds delicious.
It's not. It's horrible. It's the most vile drink on the planet.
Is it really? Yeah.
But it's,
I'm curious now. What does it do for you?
Well, it's supposed to help me in terms of healing the hole in my head. Good luck with that. Like if there's a juice that could do that, good luck. But I sweeten it with a little bit of raw honey.
Yeah.
Right. Like 17 tablespoons per ounce. So I think I've gotten the sweetness factor returned to it pretty much up at the top. But that's all I have to talk about. Matt, how about you? What's going on? I'm loving all the new additions at IPM Nation in terms of the shows and all the work that you're putting into the website. It looks just great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. A little bit at a time. I've been working on even more enhancements over the weekend that you'll be able to see soon. So. Yep, every day, plugging away at it.
IPM Nation enhancements. Yeah, there you go. You can see why. You're good at it.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture of you the other day with 3 other people. You're looking pretty good there as well. I don't, be honest with you, I don't remember where I saw the pictures. Probably somewhere on social media, but you're looking pretty good there, brother.
Thank you. Well, I have to maintain my status as an international sex symbol.
How's that going for you?
It's Jenny just gave me a strange look.
Yeah,
It's going well, obviously.
Good.
I mean, just look at me.
I know. Well, you know what? I have to, and I don't know if this gets me in trouble or not. And I'll welcome the caller and tell him we'll get back to him here in just a second. I mean, I'll let Lee know. Like, this is a big drum roll, right? Who's calling in? But I have to tell you, when I see those pictures like that of you, I think you could have played in the band Kiss.
Well, thank you. Well, I have worn the makeup.
Well, no, but I meant like without the makeup. A Kiss band member without the makeup. You look like you could step in for Gene Simmons. We'll get you some dark sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right? I think you'd be great.
I think I would too, actually. Well, they're going to be retiring soon. If they do Kiss 2.0, I might have to audition.
See, if you
could.
could.
Play bass.
Yeah, there you go. You might be able to do that. All right, let's welcome. Hopefully this is, I redid the studio so that I could seem, I need all the help I can get, but I could seem more professional than you know me to be. So I redid some things, so hopefully I got all the wires connected. Good evening. Is this by chance Lee Rowley?
Survey says, ding, ding, you've got a Lee. What's going on, man?
How are you, Lee?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, man, how's it going?
Good, Lee. I am, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time you and I have actually spoken directly on the air. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Wow.
Well, it's nice to finally meet you.
And you as well.
That's why I said in the tease over on Facebook, like it's our version of 2.5 Experts. And that's why I was so excited tonight, because if I turn to anything radio, Matt, honest to God, it's always you. If I turn to anything copy and smart and cutting edge, I turn to Lee. So it really is like having two experts, right? For the people listening, you get two experts in one show. So that's how I feel.
There you go.
Yeah.
Double your pleasure.
Double your pleasure. And the other night, Matt, Lee had someone, he does the copy that speaks, and he had a guest call in, and I used to say that a couple of the taglines that I've written in the past, I wrote one a few years back for a LED lighting company called Starlights, and the tagline was, Starlights, where bright ideas are just the beginning.
Ooh,
yeah, I know, right?
Good.
They paid some good money for that too, so I was pretty pumped. And then my second favorite tagline of all time, I mean, other than Ogilvy, right? Like my favorite tagline of all time is, in the new Rolls Royce at 60 miles an hour, the loudest thing is the clock.
Oh, wow.
Right? So that's just brilliant. And Ogilvy did another one time way back when about a furniture company, and said, our new dining room tables, if it's uneven, if your legs are out of kilter, we'd check the foundation. Right? So, I mean, those are taglines that just get it. And then I did one for, Wise Foods. You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. And that commercial aired for years and was all kinds of things. But the reason that I take you down this memory lane is I thought I had heard the best tagline of all time, right? And it was either Ogilvy's or the two that I had written. That was until the other night when Lee was on. And if I remember correctly, Lee, our guest was a young man named Alex. And Matt, he does. Well, Lee, why don't you take it away? Why don't you tell Matt? Because I think I called you. Or I saw you right after the show. Then I called you right after the show. I called you the next morning to wake you up to tell you, I think it's the most brilliant tagline I've ever heard. So why don't you catch Matt up and I'm sure Matt listens to the show, but give him an idea of what it is. And of course, I've got the long graphic loaded, but copy that speaks, you'll get it. Lee, why don't you give him an idea of what went on that night? Because I just thought your whole approach to it was brilliant.
Okay, really cool. Okay, well, Matt, I know you've seen the show, but just for those that haven't seen it, there's two things that really drive it, and one of those is getting into business owners' stories. And I'm not just talking about what they sell or what they do, but why they do it. Uncovering the passion, uncovering the reasons that drove them to do that instead of any of the thousands and thousands and thousands of other choices out there. The other element is, for some reason, people are crazy enough to want to look over a copywriter's shoulder, and because I've had people for years they're like, "What's your process?" And I can't tell them. I just roll out of bed and get a couple cups of coffee, and sometime around noon, I finally get around to doing something. You can't tell them that. But they asset to set themselves apart, be it a course name. In the case of a coach, a lot of coaches and consultants will do courses and workshops, a lot of things like that. But this gentleman is into something called robotic process automation, which just makes my eyes glaze over. And essentially, it's automating routine tasks in your business that are soaking up your time and taking you away from what you really should be doing, which is creating brilliance for your customers, right? So after talking, and we've got about 20 minutes in there after Brian and I get done acting like 12-year-olds, and to listen to the stories and to pull a tagline or a course name or whatever it is we're going to do.
That's giving me more credit than I deserve. A 12-year-old. I get 12-year-olds all over the country going, "I'll be damned if you're going to malign my character by saying he's like a 12-year-old." I'm sorry.
Well, we're just getting started. We will keep.
Well, I know,
we
right,
will keep
Matt?
getting weirder till people pay attention.
Well, I don't know if we can get weirder than the inflatable doll. I don't know if it gets weirder than that.
Is that a challenge?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Damn straight. Matt's taught me, if he's taught me anything, it's all radio, right? It's absolutely a challenge. But let me check.
And I am going to need that back, by the way. Preferably cleaner than when I got it back from Brian. But anyway, yes, go ahead, Lee.
Excellent. Okay, so anyway, Brian, I'm assuming you want me to tell them what the tagline we came up with was.
Well,
correct?
no. One, you're a little wrong because you said the three things that make the show go. Obviously, you forgot to mention your extremely articulate and handsome co-host. Well, but yes, of course, right? Because I think your tagline was the most brilliant thing I ever heard. So, Matt, just to set it up, right? Because normally there'd be a drum roll and a big reveal, and we have a noggin cam, a camera's mounted in the ceiling, and Lee's over there scratching away with a real chalkboard, as you know. And so we get ready for this big reveal, and this young man has developed software and a company that takes all the minutia and automates it so that you can just go be brilliant. Right? That's, in a nutshell, that's what he does. So, Lee, if you would, the big reveal, and for me, the best tagline I've ever heard. Take it away.
Well, thank you. Now, let's just see if I can remember it. Our automated systems take the busy work out of running your business.
Isn't that something?
To the point.
Yep.
That's good.
So, and I can't neglect to say that Brian definitely, without that we would not have a show because, he knows what he's doing, and he spent months and months dragging me, kicking and screaming from behind the keyboard to do that. So, you're definitely right. I'm very appreciative to have you as the host and keeping this silliness going.
I will tell you, Matt, now it's to the point, right, where I'm pandering for compliments, right? That's what it's come down to, right? Like I'm not getting enough sympathy from a brain tumor. Okay, but here's the thing. As I remember the quote, not to say it, Lee wrote it, but as I remember it, it was to the effect of taking the busy work out of your business. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was just brilliant, right? Taking the busyness or taking the busy work out of your business so you can focus on being brilliant. And as I said that night in the show, when you think about all the experts now that are lining up going, you got to watch the number of decisions you make. You don't want to, you get up every morning having laid your clothes out the night before, having figured out what you're going to have for breakfast, blah, 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 right? Because they say you only have so many big decisions you can make before your mind, your brain starts running out of energy. So they want all these big decisions pushed back later into the day. And there's all kinds of studies that show that that's in fact correct. So when Lee came up with, taking the busy work out of your business, there's some scientific backing to that, guys, that says that's not, it's really smart to do it that way. So Lee, I was just blown away. When you revealed the board and told everyone what it was, I thought that was really something else.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I can tell you that that's probably not the favorite piece that I've ever written.
Really? What is yours?
Mm.
Yeah. You know, several years ago, I was working with an organic company who produced and sold organic prenatal supplements. And that was a big head scratcher for me because it's another of the things like Amazon. If you go on Amazon, you can find thousands of listings for prenatal supplements. They're all pretty much the same, and a lot of them come from the same place. But this one, they said, look, we're all organic. We don't source from this and that. Everything's pure. Everything's like so. The headline that I ended up coming up with for this, and they're still using it, by the way, 4 or 5 years later, was, why would you give your kids junk food before they're even born?
Ooh. That's good.
That is good.
So,
and what
I don't think I found one that's made me smile more than that, but there's a few of them.
Sure. That's a great one. Guys, let me say hello to Henry. He's on the show tonight. Of course, we're talking about Henry Noel, who does Thinking Re-Envisioned, coming up at 8:30 this evening. He'll be back, and I had a chance to catch up with Henry earlier in the day, so I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about his show tonight. So, Henry, thank you so very much for joining us. And we're just kind of kicking around the different things that are going on this week. As you know, we interview a host, as you've been interviewed on the show before, Henry. We interview a host each week. This week, it's Lee Rowley. And then, Matt, give us an idea of some of the other things. I know you've been working really hard on the website. You've got some really cool things coming up. The other day, someone said to me, oh, you mean like Muskrat Sally and Muskrat Sam? So you have Cellophane John and Cellophane Jane. What are some of the other things? And let me just say as a disclaimer that that's not meant to identify any particular human being. We all know Cellophane Johns. We all know Cellophane Janes. So that'll just, that should slow the lawsuit down, if anything else. But what else are you working on this week, Matt, at ipmNation?
Well, I can tell you, actually, we just added a couple of new shows, and hopefully these are folks that we can get on this program soon. Actually, right now on one of our other channels, we have a new show called Red Pill Politics. Which is live until 9 p.m. And we also added the radio edition of a show called Pain Train Pipe Bomb, which now airs Sundays at noon. Red Pill Politics is obviously kind of a political show. Pain Train Pipe Bomb is kind of a pop culture, funny kind of, got nothing to do with terrorism, I promise. Don't be fooled by the...
Because everyone goes, oh, where did I put that pipe bomb? Oh, that's right. I left it in the pantry. I just said it the other day to myself. I just said it not an hour ago. All right. Well, that's
right next to the Molotov cocktail.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. That's on the top shelf. The Molotov cocktails are on the top shelf of the pantry.
Oh, okay. Top shelf cocktails.
And when you said that, Matt, can I just tell you quickly? And the client didn't like it, but they were a food company that was talking about stocking your pantry. In case, Armageddon or this, that, and anything else comes. And the tagline, 2 words that I wrote, pantry envy.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
Really? Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming, huh? Yeah, I thought pantry envy. Well, they didn't care for it. Yeah, I got you.
Hey, much better than pantry raid.
Pantry raid. No, technically, I think Pantry Raid is even better than that, so that's good. But yeah, Pantry and Envy didn't go over big. All right, so you know what I'm thinking, Matt, as you talk about some of these other shows, that we should also see about, I guess I should ask Lee's permission, but Lee, what if we were to see some of these other shows, if they need help in terms of your unique expertise, we should have them come on to Copy That Speaks and go, hey, we've got a radio show here on ipmNation.com. Here's what we're thinking about. What do you think in terms of some of the things? So maybe we should have some folks come on, Copy That Speaks as well, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I should come on and do that because Actually, one of the running jokes that we have on my show, Matt Connarton Unleashed, is that, some shows have taglines or slogans or what have you, and a lot of shows don't. But I've never had one for Matt Connarton Unleashed. Maybe I need a tagline. That might be something Lee can help with.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, bring it on. Anybody that wants to, bring me your huddled masses and all that. 1,000 points of Lee and everything.
Do you know what I call it, Matt?
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't. He calls it 1,000 points of Lee. Whenever I have something that's like stumping me and I want to, like comedians. Comedians are always getting 3 or 4 of their friends together to write copy, and then they give them all like a Rolex or this or that, right? They give them something for helping them.
Yeah.
So whenever I need help, I call it therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Therapy. Yeah, therapy.
Good,
right? So for me, it's like when I need help with a tagline or a concept or something, I call Lee and I call it therapy. And then the only other thing, Matt, and this Lee will probably text me offline and go, "Why did you out that? That was just for you." But I have a bow tie signal where now, right, Matt, because you know me, I don't know any of this. So I literally cut out the shape of a bow tie from a cardboard box. Went into the laundry room, put fresh batteries in my flashlight, and I put the flashlight on one side of the box, but I flashed this bow tie symbol up on the wall.
Oh.
So, right, because Lee's always wearing a bow tie. So whenever I need some therapy, you could call and go, Lee, do you got any time for me? I need some therapy. Or I want to go with white, glowing bow tie surrounded by black. And when Lee gets it, he knows, right? It's like me texting you 911.
Right.
Lee,
that's smart.
Lee knows to call me, and it's so that's my that's my claim to fame with Lee. I have the bow tie signal, like Commissioner Gordon, right?
Yeah.
And I never wondered if it wasn't overcast, if it was a clear night, did the bat signal work?
I always got the impression that it worked no matter what.
It
but
worked
I
no
never
matter what,
really
okay.
understood how that would actually. So wouldn't it does require some suspension of disbelief.
Well, for whatever it's worth, the bow tie signal always works. Lee, and I don't take advantage of it, right? You just can't run willy-nilly with these things. It's not like I go, I broadcast the bow tie symbol, and then I go, you want to meet for Diet Coke over to Panera? No, I don't. I only use it when I'm in trouble. Like, I need bail money, something like that, right? But I use it when I'm just.
The best reason.
That's exactly right. Riding like there ain't no clown, brother. Right? But I use it. I use it to say, hey, I need some help, Lee. And God love him, he responds every time. I'm sorry, I don't know how I got started with this, but that's my therapy. Right? Is that when I get stumped, I know I can just call for therapy. And he'll come up. It's amazing to watch him work. So maybe Matt would be a great guest.
I think so.
To have
I
on
think
the show.
so. I'd be happy to help, and he can have the bow tie signal too. I don't mind. You guys are great guys. I always do it. So if Brian flashes me the bow tie signal and says, "Let's go tip a truck," well, we're going to go tip a truck. That's just how it works.
Yeah, but if you're going to start, you can offer it to Matt because Matt's always helping me. That's good, but just let's slow down on offering it to everybody else, right? But
I didn't.
That's all I'm saying.
I didn't say everybody.
Right, that's all I'm saying. But wouldn't that be cool, Matt? Like Lee is our bullpen. So as a guest comes on or a new host comes on in ipmNation and says, "Oh man, I could really use some copywriting brilliance," right? I could really use Lee's multiple talents, his myriad of talent. Then they'd be a great person to come and have on the show.
That is a great idea. That's a great idea. Yep, absolutely.
So, Lee, what are you working on this week? I know that we're going to be hanging out Thursday night for Copy That Speaks. You want to tell us a little bit about it? Who's the guest, or do you want to keep it on the QT?
No, that's okay. So I'm not the type of person who has to have the guest with the most followers. And Brian, that's you and I. That's not really so much what we're about. I have more fun bringing in new business owners who are just really getting started and just starting to see some momentum. those are the people that there's just so much raw material to work with. So I know a lady who started a wreath making business, which it may sound fairly pedestrian, but she is, and for as long as I know her, which has been most of my life, she has been legally blind. And she makes these wreaths out of highly colorful, beautiful ribbon. These things turn out absolutely gorgeous. But she's purely doing this from imagination and memory because she had some sight as a child. And so I'm really looking forward to just digging into her story and weaving that into a tagline that she can use to build her business.
Well, Lee, you started by saying that, in terms of the number of people or the followers or this or that, but that's what I dig about you is you're always trying to help other people. So that doesn't surprise me at all that that's how you want, that's the direction you're going to take Thursday's show. You're a lot like Henry Noel in that way, that you're willing to help anybody. So I think that's really cool, actually, of both of you. And I think it's cool of Matt because Matt's, cut from the same cloth. So I'm looking forward to Thursday. That'll be great.
Absolutely. As am I.
Thank you, brother. And then, Matt, what else you got going on here in the closing minutes before we get ready to wrap? What else is going on this week at IPmNation?
Oh, I've been working on one thing, but that's a surprise. I can't say anything yet.
Okay.
Just it'll be another exciting week of programming, and of course I'll plug my show. You can hear Matt Connarton Unleashed weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on ipmNation.com/live1.
Okay.
And Brian, you've been on that show, causing trouble.
I know.
Always exciting to do that. But
I love
I'd to have you interact with Cellophane John again in the near future. It's been a while.
Cellophane
and
John.
keep John's blood pressure up.
Yeah.
And
because I haven't been called any of those names in a while, right?
Right,
So
right.
why wouldn't someone want to do that? I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other than that, everybody should just keep their eyes peeled because we've always got new stuff happening.
Very cool. And then Lee, how about you? What are you working on this week? What's going on before even in addition to Thursday show? How can people get a hold of you? So even if someone says, "Oh yeah, I'd love to be booked to be on that show," of course they'll get a hold of Matt or you and me in the IPmNation hosts Facebook page. But Lee, how can other people get a hold of you and learn a little more about you, that kind of thing?
Okay, a couple of choices. My social media hub is the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the Lee Rowley. I would have rather liked it had just been Lee Rowley, but apparently there's some political guy in some shire in England who has the same name as me, and he won't give it up.
In a pantry?
Yeah.
He's in the pantry.
The pantry, right? Yeah. So the facebook.com/the Lee Rowley. I'm also revamping the website.
Cool.
So that's LeeRowley.com. And so I'm changing all that over to reflect something I call copy branding, which is not writing copy just for the sake of making sales, but for building long-term brand trust, awareness, and appreciation. So you get long-term buyers instead of one-off customers.
Very cool.
So that's a pretty exciting development in my world.
Very cool. Well, we thank you for taking some time out this evening to join us and hang out with us here at Sneak Speak. And then I'll go ahead and get ready to wrap it, guys. But thank you so much, Lee Rowley, for joining us this evening, and Matt Connarton, the bigwig at ipmNation.com. Thank you for everything that you do to keep it surprised that we'll break between now and then.
Is that the 13th is next week, right?
Oh, it is the 13th.
So that'll be Allison Copeland from the Dumb and Busted podcast.
Dumb and Busted. I can't wait. Remind me to tell you the story about arresting the guy one time for a burglary. When he climbed out of the window, his wallet fell out inside the house. That's how I made the arrest. Yeah, I never would have made the arrest other than that, but remind me to tell you that story. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Lee, thank you so very much for calling. Matt, as always, it's a pleasure hanging with you, brother. And we will see you all back. Oh, if you're hanging out, here in about 30 minutes will be All Natural Being will be over here on ipmNation.com, of course, but also will be over on Brian Brawdy Official at the Facebook page if you want to stop by and see the live video. Guys, thank you so very much for hanging out with us this evening. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have an absolutely fantastic evening.
ipmNation.com.